Hello, Year 10. I was going to say it's good to see you again, but, well, you know what I mean. So before we get cracking, let's just do a bit of recapping on this source, which shows Hitler dancing past the so-called spineless leaders of democracy. And we're thinking about how this really contributed to war. So if we remember his aims, Hitler wanted to abolish the Treaty of Versailles. This would bring up some conflict, even if the Western powers, particularly Britain and France, were somewhat sympathetic to Germany, and there was a lot of public support and understanding for the German point of view that the Treaty of Versailles was incredibly harsh. Moves like remilitarizing the Rhineland, for example, and Anschluss, could only be interpreted as aggressive moves. To expand German territory was obviously going even further than that, because this is where you are literally invading other people's territory. So it only stands to reason that other countries would. Well, people don't really tend to like being invaded, so this would definitely be a big factor in causing war. And finally, relating to Hitler's ultimate goal to defeat communism, something he'd written extensively about in Mein Kampf. Hitler viewed the communists as his kind of life, as the kind of antithesis and the enemy of National Socialism, and wanted to see it defeated completely and burned off the face of the earth. And this is obviously going to bring him into conflict potentially with the quite enormous Soviet Union, which was led by Joseph Stalin at the time. So these are all kind of Hitler's main aims and how they would bring him into conflict. What we're doing today is we're actually looking at the events, and in particular we're analysing 10 steps that Hitler took to war, and we want to be able to explain those and make a bit of a judgment on them and how it relates to that source. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, this is going to take a bit of work, and as a result, you'll need to spend a bit of time on this, and you may I will make sure that the next lessons learning is kind of more of a consolidation task and isn't as heavy as this. But it makes sense to just kind of make sure that you do it all at once. So you might remember on a previous task I asked you to draw a ladder, or I gave you those 8 free ladders. I want you to this is going to need a double page spread, and you can draw. I want you to draw a ladder with 10 rungs that are going horizontally. Please make sure that there is plenty of space in each rung for you to be able to record information. Alternatively, you can do this as a mind map or as bullet pointed notes. I'm absolutely not fussy on the format you take, as long as it works for you. But what you need to do is analyse these events that you'll be able to see on the attachment on Frog, going from rearmaments right up to what happened in Czechoslovakia. And on each rung on your ladder, as it were, or on your mind map or whatever, I want you to describe each of these events in your own words. Keep it relatively straightforward. I don't want you to copy it word for word, just literally in your own words, summarise what happened in each of these things. I want you to explain why they were significant. That's your grade 5 to 7 work. And then, particularly for those who are really going for the top, I want you to try to assess the impact of each of the steps. Okay, why they brought Europe closer to war, or indeed the world closer to war. So a lot to get on with there. As I said, there's 10 quite comprehensive steps, and you need to reflect a lot of depth. So do take your time on it. Make sure you don't go over the allotted time that you would, or the normal time that you'd spend on this lesson. If you spent 45 minutes and only covered 6 or 7 of the steps, then take a break and finish it off in the next lesson, okay? Or consider it to be homework as we would in normal circumstances. That's then, once you've done that, I want you to go back finally to the source. I did say we would revisit it. And I want you to answer the question, what does this source tell us about Hitler's role in the outbreak of war in 1939? Analyse this source using the 5 W's. At least one paragraph response. Your own words. I'm deliberately not giving you a paragraph structure because I want you to try and work at this independently and get a bit more confident with writing extended pieces of writing by yourselves as much as possible. Okay, but I will be here if you need help. If you ask me on Teams, normally I can give you a pretty instant response or email. Okay, best of luck, and as I said, here if you need.